Makerere University from 49% in 2024 to 80% in 29-30, as measured by infrastructure and in-built facilities. 3, to contribute to the increase in enrollment of students pursuing STEI disciplines from the current 30% to 55% by the year 29-30. And 4, to contribute to the university's ambition to increase the threshold of graduate enrollment from the current 17% to 40% by 2029-2030. The implications of borrowing on the current debt situation. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, as at the end of June 2025, the public debt to GDP stood at 51.3%. This borrowing was already planned for in the approved budget for 2025-2026 and the attendant fiscal deficit. The loan will therefore not increase this debt position, as the loan was already included in the debt sustainability analysis conducted in December 2025. Mr. Speaker, I wish to state that Uganda's debt remains within sustainable limits, with a total debt stock projected at $31.5 million. This is approximately 116 trillion for financial year 2024-2025. This amount includes the budget support loan. The total debt stock projected at $31.5 billion comprises $15.49 billion, approximately 56.3 trillion in external debt, and $16 billion, approximately 59.77 trillion in domestic debt. Public debt as a share of GDP is estimated at 51.26%, aligning with the target set in the Charter of Fiscal Responsibility. Mr. Speaker, in light of the above, I beg to appeal to the House to consider and approve this loan request. I thank you.
Thank you. Chair, Committee on National Economy.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, colleagues, honorable members of Parliament. Right Honorable Speaker, on the 2nd of December, on the 2nd of this month, this loan was read before Parliament, and it was referred to the Committee of Parliament, Committee on National Economy, in line with our rules of procedure. Right Honorable Speaker, the Committee on National Economy scrutinized this loan, and it's ready to report. But before I report, allow me lay the minutes of the committee and the report of the committee. Right Honorable Speaker, I would want to highlight one thing, is that Right Honorable Speaker, due to the current political situation we are undergoing as a country, many of our members are up country, but we scrutinized this loan and they accepted. Many of them whom I called were in line with it, but unfortunately we could not get access their signatures. We were only able to get about 7 signatures in each of these reports.
Yes, Honorable.
Yes, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House suspends Rule 162, Clause 4, for the time is running. Right Honorable Speaker, you are aware that members are busy campaigning, and the issues raised by the minister are too critical. Many of us here, we are products of Makerere University, and the contents that we are aimed at improving are critical for this country. I would therefore appeal to colleagues that we really approve this loan, even without considering anything, either a report or whatever, because the issues are too critical at all. I beg to move.
Thank you. Please, colleagues, listen to one another, okay? Please. Okay? Let us live in reality. Okay? Let us live in reality. Because, honorable colleagues, why don't you see? Getting people here, yourselves, and the country has to move on. The country has to work. Yeah. Okay? So a colleague is right to give his view, and then you subject it to your own views. Okay? Yeah, but we don't rule him out of order. He is not allowed to speak in the House. Is the motion seconded? There is a motion on the floor. Honorable Fox Odoy, Honorable Gorobi, Honorable Muyingo, Honorable Tuasim Wedakas, UPDF, Honorable Chibadia. Honorable colleagues, I now put the question that Rule 162.4 of the Rules of Procedure be suspended as proposed by Honorable colleague. Those in favor say aye, to the contrary nay. The ayes have it. So, Honorable colleagues, with that, we are going to proceed and we process the wrong. Yeah, but Honorable Sewungu, please raise your issue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm the Shadow Minister for Education on this side. And it's very unfortunate that I have been in this Parliament for the 3 terms and I've never left the Committee of Education. Kasese, where the honour member is coming from, has a university called Mountains of the Moon, and is crippling. Our rules, I have not...
Order.
They stop you from giving...
Honorable, you don't access the microphone without a permission.
I was stopped from giving order on your side. Now you are coming on my side. Kindly be very patient.
Honorable, raise a procedure matter.
So the procedure matter, Mr. Speaker, I'm raising is that we have so many crippling universities. I am a product of Makerere University, with the 2 degrees, by the way, for law and education. Why do we come out for only Makerere University when a number of universities are crying for money? When I see members of NRM standing up very comfortably to support that motion, yet majority of those universities that are crying are from their own constituencies and districts.
Thank you.
I feel like crying. Mr. Speaker, the procedure matter I'm raising. We have UPE schools. They are all condemned. Wouldn't it be procedure okay for the minister to bring a loan for all universities in Uganda, including universal primary education schools, which are all condemned by now, other than by going for only Makerere University, which even is collecting a lot of money from...
Thank you. Now, Honorable Sewungu, you see, if you followed, and you follow the trend of money, these days getting a concessional loan, concessional support is a tug of war. The South Korean government, I'm one of the people who went Korea sometime back to lobby for the support. These people to agree to give this kind of concessional support is not easy. And once you finish Makerere, even you got another university, another university, another university, and you support them. You can't say, because they have not given this other university, therefore we shouldn't also support this one. Makerere is your premier university. You can't run away from it. Okay? And many projects from Makerere, we have used them to support all other universities. By the way, let me tell you, take your seat. I was at Makerere on the University Council. All these universities which started, we are getting seconded staff from Makerere. So if you had not developed the capacity of Makerere, you wouldn't be supporting all these universities around are standing on Makerere. So to me, that business of saying, because you've not given so and so, don't give so and so, is not a right one. But what I pick from it, Honorable Sewungu, is that we also need to support other universities. And Honorable Minister, please look into that. Honorable Sewungu, Honorable Muyingo.
Thank you very much.
Please, Honorable Sewungu, you're on the Committee of Education. You'll follow up on this matter.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, we have a plan for each and every education institution in this country, including these other universities we're talking about. But this is
No, why don't you cry, Honourable Member? They have given a chance and the minister has accepted. Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Sengu, take your seat. Please, take your seat. Take your seat, please. Honourable colleagues, I now put the question that the motion for a resolution of Parliament to authorize the government to borrow up to USD 162 million from Korea Export-Import Bank for the Makerere University Improvement Project be approved by this House. Those in favor, say aye to the contrary, nay. The ayes have it. I don't know what Makerere did to you, but I will request the Vice Chancellor to link up with you so that you settle your issues. Next item.
Item 6 on the order.
Let me allow Lopez, we go to the next item. By the way, honorable colleagues, I request we take it easy. Because how you come here, okay? Because I have seen you when you come, I've seen you when you're sober, I have seen, but I mean, I ask myself why, okay? No prayer. I don't need any prayer here, Honorable, unfortunately. Honorable Alop.
Honorable Speaker, I want to draw us to maybe about two issues that are important for our modus operandi here. You see, I don't want to, whether it be in my personal capacity as a member of Parliament for Nakawa West, whether it be as leader of the opposition, I never want to be seen to stand in the way of development of a project like a road, the Bale Road, Bale Galilaya Road, and many others anyway, that are in such a shambolic state that need to be fixed. So government comes and says, let's borrow to fix this. So when you're seen to oppose that, you might be seen as anti-progress, anti-developmental. Makerere University, many of us studied here, there. I also have 2 degrees from Makerere. And that and many other public institutions should be supported to thrive for the good of our country. My challenge is twofold, and these are things we need to clean up, even as we push for progress, for development. Procedure is important. That's why this House has an entire booklet called Rules of Procedure. We must, as much as we possibly can, operate within that. One colleague rose up, and I don't know why he chose to be on record for that, because his Hansards are read years later. He said, we don't even care about the committee report, about whatever. I said, hey, this member, you can actually justify your motion without descending into that arena.
Was that today?
Come again?
Huh?
Yes, if you heard him right. He said, even the committee report, we don't care about all those things. I said, let's...
No, please, that one should be expunged from the record.
Because surely...
That component. We care so much about committee reports here.
Yeah, so all of these, so when we raise these issues, it's no, we don't want to be seen as anti-development, we also must be seen to operate smoothly and all of that, yeah? So these are critical concerns. I know that members are out there campaigning, and so there will be challenges. Koram, look at us here, for example. I don't think we are even a quarter. My colleague, the shadow minister, was availing some information. Look, I don't think we are even a quarter of the number that is required to vote. And yet, yes, there's critical business to be taken care of. But can we begin to operate procedurally? When a loan is availed today, committee is called to sit at 10, and then everything is passed hurriedly. The perception out there is that there is something to hide. And yet, no. I mean, I want to be able to stand here and say this loan is a good one. It's for development and so on. But we must be able to clothe all of these things nicely, even for the public. Because the public is always very suspicious of Parliament. Those ones, now what are they doing surreptitiously? What is under the table? And yet it is a loan for good, for a road and all of that.
Can
Of
the
course,
law please conclude?
of course, later on, we shall be quarreling about, so money has been availed. How come it is being stolen? How come the road is not starting on time? How come it's not ending on time? Because we have been here, the Auditor General's reports reveal all of these different things. Yeah. But finally, Right Honourable Speaker, our debt to GDP ratio is now 51.3%. We are entering the red zone. We are no longer borrowing from a point of strength and comfort. That's the reality about our fiscal situation. We are in what is called debt limbo. So we have to keep borrowing continuously. You borrow to fix this, you borrow to pay this, you continuously have got to live on debt. We have got to be careful how we operate. We want to develop, we want to build roads, we want to, but can we plan better? Apportion our budgets better? There's things that I think we spend a lot of money on that are not very relevant, and yet we can put that to fixing the roads. So that no one says we are opposing a road here which is good or opposing this development and so on. I thought, this is my responsibility is to keep government in check, that I would raise these issues so that we read our thermometer, follow the law, follow procedures, so that we are not blamed tomorrow for not clothing up these processes nicely.
Thank you. That's really very important for noting, Mr. Rope. So, Honorable colleague, that part where they said that the report is not important, I want to invoke my authority under Rule 238, sub-root over rules of procedure to expunge it from the record of Parliament. Rules are extreme and reports are extremely important here. That's how we operate. Let's do item 4.
Item 4 on the order paper, motion for resolution of Parliament to authorize pre-financing of the design and build of Kayunga Bare Gariraya Road, 87 kilometers from gravel to paved standard.
Honourable Minister for Finance. I've invited Honourable Minister. I have not invited.
Right Honourable Speaker, moving a motion from the government with a proposal to pre-finance the design and build of Kayunga Bare Gariraya Road, which is 87 kilometers from Kayunga, from gravel to paved standard project. Right Honourable, this motion was moved on 2nd December 2025, and the relevant documents were laid then, and the motion was referred, the documents were referred to the Committee of National Economy. If you allow me, Right Honourable Speaker,
No, Honourable, move a motion, then I can, once it's seconded, I can allow you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm moving a motion for the approval by Parliament for the design and build of Kayunga Bare Gariraya Road from gravel to paved standard project.
No, Honourable, that's not what the motion. You need a motion to authorize you to borrow. You're saying for the design, you don't need a motion to design.
A motion, Right Honourable.
Use the order paper. And then you mention the amount.
Right Honourable Speaker, I'm moving a motion for resolution of Parliament to authorize the pre-financing of the design and build of Kayunga Bare Gariraya Road, 87 kilometers from Kayunga, from gravel to paved standard. I beg to move.
Is the motion seconded by your colleague, Honourable Musa? Honourable Cooper, Honourable Nelson, No, no, we are seconding, Honorable. No. No, it's okay, it's okay. Yeah, we will capture it. We shall capture the amount. Honorable Tebandeke, Charles. I think this will be the first motion for him to support. I think Honorable has seen how he needs others also. Honorable Kibadi, Honorable Timsiku, Honorable Odoi. Hey, I can see our elders there. Honorable Wako, Honorable Tebasima, Honorable Muyingo, Honorable colleagues, many of you have supported. Honorable Mero. Yeah. Yes, Honorable Minister, just in a minute. Yes. And I would also ask Honorable Tebandeke Charles to join you in justifying why we need this.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, the Kayunga Bare Galilaya Road was actually prioritized for upgrading to pave this standard since NDP 2. Even in NDP 3 it was there, and NDP 4 is still persistently there. We are lucky that we received a proposal that is very competitive from one of the contractors, the China Railway and Bridges Corporation, that gave us a very competitive proposal on a pre-financing arrangement with a grace period of 2 years and payment happening in the third and the fourth year. The pre-financing period or the entire period of this loan does not carry any interest payment requirement, and that's why it is very competitive. And also, the principal price for constructing this road is very attractive, with a maximum of $1 million per kilometer, including a landing site at the end of this road on Lake Choga. This road must have been done years ago, because considering the time taken to travel all the way to Lira in the current arrangement, people I think take more than 6 hours to reach Lira. With this road, they will be in Lira in about 2.5 hours, saving about 4 hours. So it is a very, very important road, because Kayunga is strategically located in the middle of the country, and this is where the road is going to be found. So, whereas it is going to benefit the people of Kayunga, but the people to benefit most are the ones traveling to the northern region. So, at the moment, the road is very busy in terms of transporting sugarcane and other products. It's a very busy road, and we have been suffering for a very long time, because the maintenance of this road has to be done every after 2 months if it is going to remain in the standards required for trucks to move in the current arrangement of a gravel road standard. So it's very important that we upgrade the standard of this road to a paved road, and we want to thank the government for taking this decision. Right Honourable Speaker, I believe that's enough justification for the construction of this road.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Tebandeke. Just before Honourable Tebandeke, Honourable Cooper wanted to say something, and then.
Yeah, thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, Honourable colleagues. I stand here to support the motion. Right Honourable Speaker, the southern part of the Lake Kyoga has been lacking in terms of infrastructure to connect it to the northern part of the Lake Kyoga. So I come here to support, because this is one of the roads we have been really agitating and fighting for, that should be improved in the Committee of Physical Infrastructure for the last 10, 15 years. So I'm happy that today this has come to what it is. Right Honourable Speaker, additionally, the people of Serere, the people of Kasilo, the people of Kaberimaido, of Kalaki will be beneficiaries to this project. It will improve on the connectivity between the northern part of Lake Kyoga and the southern part of Lake Kyoga. But needless to add that, Right Honourable Speaker, the Minister of Finance also looks into picking up from Nakasongola to Galilaya to connect, such that if you are coming from Masindi, you don't have to come to Kampala. You can be able to connect from Masindi, Nakasongola, Kayunga, you come to Kayunga, you come to Simba Dam, you go to Kamuli, Kamuli to Kaliro, and Kaliro you are in Palisa. The other two roads that Minister of Finance needs to look into, from Kamuli to Irundu, and then Kaliro to Irundu. Once you do those roads on the southern part of Lake Kyoga, you'd have improved on the connectivity between the northern part of the country and the southern part of the country, and definitely with the ferries that are already operating and those that we are proposing to introduce on the Lake Kyoga, the connectivity you'd have reduced on the speed, on the time that we spend to get to Kampala. I could be sleeping in Kasilo and come here, because within 2 hours I would be in Kampala from Kasilo, not spending 5 hours. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I stand here to support this loan for the construction of this road. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, on the 2nd of this month, Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development presented a loan proposal for government to borrow, to pre-finance to pre-finance the design and build of Kayunga, Bale, Gariraya Road, 87 kilometers from gravel to paved standard project.
Honorable, do you have a report with enough signatures?
Right Honorable Speaker, like I stated earlier, due to the political season, many of our members of the committee are in their constituencies and they are canvassing for support for votes, and therefore the committee was only able to raise again about 6 signatures for this particular project.
Thank you. Honorable Tebandeke.
Speaker, I appreciate the House for consideration of the motion on the floor. Right Honorable Speaker, before I continue any further, regarding the need to respect the rules and by the power entrusted in you by this House in the rules of procedure, and given the urgency, the need and the importance of the road we are discussing in motion, I request that by your powers, Right Honorable Speaker, we move by rules of procedure and suspend Rule 162, Rule 4, that entitles the Committee on National Economy to present this report, and therefore the House passes this report in consideration of the pre-financing loan without any further doom, given the urgency. Right Honorable Speaker.
I will allow you. Let me first put a question. Depending on how it comes out, I will again allow you, because I know you are an affected member from that area.
All right.
Is the motion seconded? Honorable Gorovi. The whole House has supported Tebandeke, apart from Rope and Seum. Oh, even Lope has supported him and Honorable Seum. So the whole House has supported. Yeah. Thank you. Now, colleagues, I now put the question that Rule 162(4) be suspended as proposed by Honorable Tebandeke Charles. Those in favor say aye, and to the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. So, Honorable Tebandeke.
Thank you, colleagues, for standing with the people of Bale, Kayunga, and Uganda for the need for upgrading this road. Right Honorable Speaker, allow me put forward only 3 matters. Much has been said about the same road, but I'm seeing it in terms of reducing on the jam within Kampala and alongside the Bombo Road. By geography of Uganda, we know that exportation of goods that are going to the West Nile and the north from eastern has to connect Kampala and connect up Bombo Road. When this road is paved and tarmacked, it's going to reduce all that. So it is not only going to benefit the people of Bale, but even the business world and Ugandans within the city. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm also of a request that after tarmacking this, the Minister of Works can now look at the connectivity from Bale to Nakasongola, because that's how the objective of reducing on the jam can be worked on, such that all the vehicles from Eastern can branch off from Nile to Jinja, Kayunga, then it take on to Nakasongola, Masindi, then the entire burden of jam will have been reduced, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, for the good of the members on the other side, this road NRM government has promised it for so long to the people of Kayunga. For your information, the President Museveni, for 3 consecutive times while campaigning in Kayunga, has always promised this road, and it has been a date from the people of Kayunga to government. By tarmacking it, it is also paving your way to see that you justify at least something reasonable being done to the people of Kayunga. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like also to remind members about the safety, not even security, but safety. The connectivity of northern Uganda to central Uganda is not only serving a security matter, but the safety of the people in transit and the goods can easily move throughout the shortcut. Lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, the government of Obote had promised to tarmac this road, and you have the Obote Memorial portrait at Kayunga in Honorable Amos Rugorobi's constituency. It had aimed at tarmacking this road and he called it Obote Road. Now that Obote is not in the place and did not fulfill the urgency for the need of this road, and Tebandeke Charles, on behalf of the people of Bale, I've toiled a lot. I've moved. Members, I even reached the extent of going to the bush, and the people misinterpreted me. I think the bush has got a lot of results, and I'm getting insinuated that for any demand, maybe we should go to the bush. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to apologize for those I disappointed, for those who misinterpreted my actions of demanding for this road. Even one time, some of the ministers I cannot mention here reached that moment of hiding away from me while knocking at their offices in demand of the same road. Now that this road has come into fulfillment, by your indulgence, Right Honorable Speaker, I request that the House resolve and call it Tebandeke Highway, because I've done the needful. I've tried to struggle and see that the people of Bala and Kayunga are liberated. This is our very first time we are looking and seeing at the black tarmac road. We have toiled from dust. People have died in 2003. We lost close to 70 members around Rugasa because of the dust. The road is very busy.
Thank you, Honorable Tebandeke. Thank you. No, thank you. I think where you've gone now, you've gone beyond what we can do here. I know the MPs from that side. I know Honorable Tebandeke. I know Honorable Rugorobi, you know, and even the former MP, Honorable Rantaba and team, you know, all of them have been pushing for this road. But I know you fought a lot. I wanted to really go on record. But then again, unfortunately, we don't have the power to start. Yeah, please correct that.
Mr. Speaker, I want to correct the impression. It's not because he ran to the bush and started rioting that a decision was taken to construct this road. This has been the plan of NRM government to actually upgrade this road. And the decision was taken by the President of Uganda that it was fully justified to construct this road and to fulfill this commitment. It's not because he ran to the bush, and that impression should be corrected, and the desire that is named after him, I think that should be expunged from the Hansard.
No, that's a request. I thought you were going to say we name it after Yoweri Museveni. Since Obote failed, and then for him he came worked on it. Yes, Honorable Guzuri. Then Honorable Edakas.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. In this year's budget, we allocated 21.05 billion for this road. And according to the pre-financing demands of the contractor, they needed about 25 billion to commence work. That means there's a financing gap of 4.23 that we should have provided. And here we are moving to borrow. Here we are committing government for up to 300 billion. I'm wondering why we would not just mobilize the 4.3 billion and deal with the other issue next financial year. Because we are literally putting money in a basket for people to eat. I do not see any urgent demand for more than 4.23 billion. Unless someone is able to justify that. We have so many stalled road projects across the country. The Ministry of Finance and Works cannot explain why road projects are stolen. Just a few months ago, we borrowed money to reactivate some of the stalled projects. So there is a big risk of leaving a lot of money in the hands of the administrators of Ministry of Finance as constituted now. It would be appropriate if this country still has a parliament working for it to address the current need of Ministry of Works, which is 4.23. Otherwise, borrowing, we are supposed to borrow out of which we will commit 10%. So where will the other money go? That's a very big risk this country should deal with. And the committee actually made some good recommendations which needed to be considered. So, Mr. Speaker, you need to guide us. How do we start incorporating
can we
some of those recommendations into what we are going to do?
No, we don't incorporate what we don't have here. Okay? But I just wanted that clarification on the 4-point-something billion that is needed versus the whole of this amount. Honourable Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker, during appropriation, the 21 billion was part of the budget, and it has already been appropriated. It's within the budget. Now, what caused this was the idea that we construct the landing site. The Ministry of Works felt that the road would not be useful without a landing site. So when they added this, the 10% then moved from 21 billion, which is already in the budget, to that figure, the 25 billion. So the gap is actually very small. It can be addressed within the budget. It's not a problem.
Honourable Migade, then Honourable Daka. Colleagues, we still have a lot of business to do. I'll allow you the subsequent business.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, as far as the 4 billion is concerned, today we interacted with the Permanent Secretary and officials from Finance, and the Permanent Secretary assured us that they will provide the 4 billion in the remaining 2 quarters. That was on record when he interfaced with the committee. But also, Right Honourable Speaker, the other request that maybe government and as a country we can take on, one of the best projects, the quickest projects which are under implementation is the Greater Kampala Metropolitan Project. And one of the reasons as to why is because people offered free land. And the project, this is the first time we are approving a loan within the same term of Parliament, and the project, if it's a road, we are actually passing on the road complete within the same term. So even the Kayunga Galilaya road project, people also offered free land. So this helps to cut down on costs, but also to fast track the implementation of this. So if we can adopt this procedure, if people are offering land within Kampala where land is most expensive, what about in the rural areas? Probably we need to change the narrative. We should educate the people so that people can really start offering. The minister was saying that even in Karamoja, people are also demanding for compensation where land is huge. So probably that will help us save lots of money, but also fast track on implementation of projects.
Thank you. Honorable Dakas.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I just wanted to underscore the importance of what Honorable Gorobi said about the landing sites. Mr. Speaker, this investment is very strategic. And even as we speak, like Honorable Cooper said, we have 2 ferries built. They are floating on the water because we do not have 2.9 billion. I think it would be important for the Ministry of Finance to find that money, because truly, with this investment on Lake Kyoga, the lake becomes a catalyst. Those landing sites become a catalyst to all this infrastructural development. So this House should focus on making sure that the Minister of Finance should focus on making sure that money is availed for Bukungu landing site, Kagwara landing site, and a Kampala landing site in Kabarimaido. Secondly, is the issue of just us passing the loans here, and those loans are not applied to work. I remember this House passed the Katine Ochero Road loan, 2023. And I'm told if Minister of Works was here, I would have asked that up to now, that contractor has not been given work. And yet this House approved that loan. And all these are within that same bracket of Lake Kyoga area, and it would unlock a lot of potential for the people in that particular area. I thank you.
Honorable colleagues, I put the question that the motion for resolution of payment authorize the pre-financing of the design and build of Kayunga Barega Road, 87 kilometers, from gravel to paved standard be approved by this House. Those in favor say aye. To the contrary, nay. The ayes have it. Next item.
Item 6 on the order paper. Motion for resolution of Parliament to authorize government to borrow up to euro 385 million, approximately United States dollars 448 million, from Rand Merchant Bank and other financial institutions to finance the government of Uganda infrastructure and development budget for the financial year 2025-2026.
Honourable Minister for Finance.
Right Honourable Speaker, in accordance with Article 159 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, Section 34 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015, and Rule 1551 of the Parliamentary Rules of Procedure, I beg to move that Parliament authorizes government to borrow up to euros 385 million, approximately US dollars 448 million, from the Rand Merchant Bank and other financial institutions to finance the government of Uganda's infrastructure and development budget for financial year 2025-2026 as appropriated by Parliament. I beg to move.
The motion is seconded. Honorable Choto, Honorable Mukasa, Honorable Babunji, Namisindwa, Youth Eastern, Honorable Kasai, Chair National Economy, Dakas, Honorable Sewungu. Oh, you are not standing up to. Oh, okay, yeah, please, yes. The Honorable Tebandeke, Charles. The Honourable Minister, would you love to just, Honourable Minister, 1 minute. Don't need to go into the whole statement. Procedure, Honourable Seungu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when they gave us the notes for this sitting, I dressed very smart and appeared here, not in hesitation, and not because I've made sitting not supporting these motions, but why can't the Minister of Finance procedure create anything for Karungu or Masaka so that they can also follow suit of those supporting the motion?
Or Mitoma.
We have roads. I have no relative in Minister of Finance from Karungu. At this Honorable Gorobi, they are now at par with this loan, whatever is coming, because it's going through their area. But we, who have nobody there, no minister, what do we do?
Honorable Seungu, I will join you in demonstrating at
Yes.
finance.
Let's
plan very well. We don't ambush them here.
Yeah, let him plan something small. He comes and he tells us that Kalungu will get this.
We shall go to the bush like Tebandeke.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, some of the decisions of this House have been impeached on grounds of procedural impropriety. I want you to set
in water, in electricity, in roads, in hospitals, etc., etc. Mr. Speaker, I beg and I pray that the House considers this request so that we are able to fully finance the budget for this financial year. I submit, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable. Chair, Honorable Gade, do you have a report on this?
Yes, Honorable, yes, we do have a report. Yes, Honorable, yes, we do have a report.
Fully signed?
To such that it's clarified, we know which banks we're borrowing money from. Thank you.
So, thank you, Honorable colleagues. I put the question that the motion for resolution of payment authorize government to borrow up to euro 385 million, approximately USD 448 million from Rand Merchant Bank and other financial institutions to finance the government of Uganda infrastructure and development budget for the financial year 2025-2026 be approved by this House. Those in favor say aye, and to the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. Now, next item.
Laying of papers. A brief to Parliament on the proposal for Uganda National Oil Company to borrow up to $2 billion from Vitol Bahrain EC VBA to finance government infrastructure projects.
Yeah, colleagues, at the start of this session, I informed you that I would amend the order paper to accommodate this item. So, Honourable Minister for Finance.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay on table a brief to Parliament on the proposal for Uganda National Oil Company to borrow up to $2 billion from Vitol Bahrain EC to finance government infrastructure projects. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Attorney General, have something you want to?
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, this brief from government is for the financing of UNOC, the commercial arm of government, in its oil operation. Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, I'm alive to the fact that Parliament is about to adjourn sine die, and I seek your indulgence, Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, to suspend Rule 162.2 and 4, which requires us to refer this to the committee so we can deal with this matter here today, as it is quite urgent to facilitate the operations of UNOC as a commercial arm of our oil and gas sector. I beg to submit.
Attorney General, before I put a question on it, can before I even ask for secondment, anyway, let me first have the secondment. Is this seconded? Honourable Fox Odoy. Yes, thank you. So before I put a question, Attorney General, would you, because this is a new item, I would want to know the urgency and why you feel we should, suspend, speak to it.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, this facility is being sought to finance the operations of the Uganda National Oil Company. Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, this is for purposes of financing. It is really about our fuel security, the development of the Kampala storage terminal, development of the pipeline jetty and associated terminal at Jinja storage terminal, acquisition of a storage facility for gas oil at Mombasa port, at least 1 year's financing towards the refinery project, acquisition of shares in the Kenya Pipeline Company, and the extension of the pipeline projects from Eldoret to Kampala. Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, if you may recall, when we were discussing an amendment to the PFMA, we did mention to the House at the time that at times it's very, very important and difficult for commercial arms of government to consistently come here. Now, as we speak now, UNOC is ready to start investment in all these projects. It has found financing, very cheap financing, which is available now and is on overdraft basis. It is now going to be available to them to use as and when these projects come on stream. Now, if Parliament breaks off and any of these things come on stream, then we can't deal with them. So we request that Parliament really considers this, because it is really commercial business of UNOC. Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, for example, we have the Kampala storage terminal. Right now, all the oil that we import, all our products that we import, we have to release into the stations. We don't have any fuel security. Same with the Jinja storage terminal. Currently, all our oil that is transported through the pipeline has to be evacuated at Eldoret and then trucked here. An effort is being made to do the pipeline to Kampala. So, Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, this is quite urgent. We request that you allow UNOC to be able to carry out its operation while even Parliament is on recess. I beg to submit. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, colleagues, I now put the question that Rule 162.2 and Rule 162.4 be suspended as proposed by the Attorney General. Those in favor sign to the contrary. The ayes have it. So, Honourable Minister, next we should have a motion. Let's first have a motion and then we shall debate. I will allow you, Honourable colleague.
Motion for a resolution of Parliament authorize government to borrow up to United States dollars $2 billion from Vital Bahrain EC to finance government infrastructure projects.
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move a motion for a resolution of Parliament to allow government to borrow up to US dollars $2 billion from Vital Bahrain to finance government infrastructure projects under the National Oil Company, UNOC. I beg to move.
Is the motion seconded? Honorable Kugonza, Honorable Layo, Honorable Nekesa, Honorable Charity, Honorable Masiko. Dr. Lanyon is the one I started with, Honorable Nen, Honorable Neterasi, Honorable Felix Chimutai. Yeah, I heard you saying Edith. Yeah. Honorable Cooper, you were okay. Chair National Economy. So, Honorable Minister, justify the motion, and on this one you can go into more details so that we bring members on board for it.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. As a way of background, in August 2023, government through the Uganda National Oil Company entered into a petroleum product supply agreement with Vital Bahrain, a global leader in crude oil and petroleum product supply and marketing, for the purpose of sole importation of all of Uganda's demand for petrol, diesel, and aviation fuel. UNOC, together with Vital, commenced sole importation business in July 2024 and has, as of December 2025, successfully delivered this mandate, attaining the principal objectives of market supply stability and competitive prices while generating revenue. To date, UNOC has generated a gross profit of US dollars of up to a net US dollars 150 million. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, in addition to the sole importation mandate, UNOC is engaged in several projects across the petroleum value chain, which include the following. 1. Development of Kampala Storage Terminal. 2. Development of pipeline jetty and associated terminal enhancement at Jinja Storage Terminal. 3. Acquisition of Mombasa Storage to handle gas oil through purchase of a terminal. 4. At least the first year of construction of Uganda's refinery. 5. Acquisition of shares in the Kenya Pipeline Company. 6. Extension of the finished products pipeline from Eldoret to Kampala. In addition, there is an urgent need to revamp and build key national roads to support the tenfold growth strategy, inclusive of enabling and facilitating oil and gas infrastructure to ease movement of petroleum products across the country. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, on the backdrop of the successful partnership on sole fuel importation, Vital indicated willingness to provide financing to support implementation of UNOC projects and other critical government infrastructure. In May 2025, UNOC and Vital concluded a memorandum of understanding for financing cooperation to explore the potential funding of UNOC projects and critical infrastructure projects. Mr. Speaker, since the signing of the Paris Agreement at the UN Climate Change Conference of Parties, COP21, in Paris, France in December 2025, the global energy systems have experienced a policy shift, what they call energy transition, away from fossil fuels to alternative energy sources that are considered to have a lower carbon emissions footprint and by some measures more sustainable in the long term. The outcome of this energy transition has been a shift in public policy and global capital investment away from traditional petroleum investments, as well as increasing climate activism against fossil fuel investments. Honorable colleagues, the mentioned UNOC projects have not been insulated from this global policy shift and its repercussions. For example, East African crude oil pipeline, the flagship project of Uganda's oil and gas sector, experienced significant environmental activism and challenges in raising finance to achieve financial close, and yet ECOP has maintained the highest international environmental and social standards, enjoys the support of the host government of Uganda and Tanzania, as well as significant investment from internationally recognized companies such as Total Energies and Sinop. Right Honorable Speaker, government infrastructure has equally faced challenges whereby the sources of financing for infrastructure have become increasingly expensive, and several infrastructure projects have experienced a slowdown or stoppage due to limited funding. Therefore, the purpose of the VITO financing proposal presents an opportunity to access non-traditional financing to implement UNOC projects and support the government in developing national infrastructure. Right Honorable Speaker, whereas VITO is not a traditional lender, it has become common practice for global commodity traders and other investors who have strong cash flows, balance sheets, and access to cheaper capital to enter into similar tailor-made financing agreements with host governments and national parastatals world over. In accordance with Section 34 of the PFM Act 2015, I present to the House the details of the loan facility that include the terms of the facility, additional conditions, and investment priorities. Mr. Speaker, the proposed $2 billion will be used to finance the following projects. $1.2 billion will be utilized to finance the following UNOC projects. 1. Development of Kampala Storage Terminal. 2. Development of pipeline jet and associated terminal enhancement at Jinja Storage Terminal. 3. Acquisition of the Mombasa storage to handle gas oil through purchase of a terminal. 4. At least the first year of construction of the Uganda refinery. 5. Acquisition of shares in Kenya Pipeline Company. 6. Extension of the finished product pipeline from Eldoret to Kampala. And $800 million will be utilized to finance national roads infrastructure projects. Mr. Speaker, I now come to the financing terms. VITO will provide UNOC with the loan facility amounting to $2 billion under the following terms. The lender is VITO Bahrain. The borrower is Uganda National Oil Company. The repayment party is UNOC through capitalization from Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. The loan facility is $2 billion. The tenor is 84 months, in other words, 7 years, including grace period. The grace period is 24 months or 2 years. Interest accrues, i.e., instead of being paid on each disbursement, this interest is deferred as accrued. The repayment profile: after 2 years grace period, the government will pay US dollars 100 million of principal plus interest every quarter on the utilized amounts only. The interest rate is 3 months term secured overnight financing rate, in brackets SOFR currently at 3.92% plus 1% margin, which brings it to 4.92% all in. Other fees, they are nil, and other key features: one is cash flows up to an agreed minimum amount from UNOC projects funded by the facility deposited in escrow account as security for the term of the loan, 7 years. 2, option to increase the loan amount. 3, utilization to be made within 5 years after the execution of the facility. Conditions attached to the loan. Right Honorable Speaker, Vito has provided additional conditionalities to enhance the facility interest SOFR plus 1% in order to secure the expected return. These conditionalities are outlined below. 1, UNOC will open escrow account called rules-based account in international banks operating in Uganda. The accounts will be operated as follows. UNOC will pay into the account or revenue derived from the projects financed by the loan facility. 2, UNOC will also pay into the domestic product account all the proceeds from the sales of finished petroleum products to oil marketing companies in Uganda, domestic products, and the petroleum proceeds and project revenue will flow through the above mentioned accounts shall act as security in case government defaults on loan repayments when they fall due. The justification for the loan: in addition to the macroeconomic impacts that the projects will have on the economy, UNOC will be able to generate revenues of up to $5.6 billion from the projects when implemented. In addition, these projects that have been approved by the UNOC board and the cabinet would have required government funding through the consolidated fund over the next 5 years. This loan thus eases the debt burden of funding UNOC and enables quick realization of revenues from the projects. Please note that these revenues will be in addition to revenues generated from the projects in the upstream sector. The loan repayment plan. Mr. Speaker, after the 2 years grace period, government will capitalize UNOC over the loan repayment period, and these funds will be used for repayment of the loan. The repayment details have also been provided as annex to the statement. There will be no interest payment made during the grace period. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, I would like to request Parliament to, 1, note the need to acquire financing for the implementation of UNOC and other government infrastructure projects. 2, authorize UNOC by passing a resolution of Parliament in line with the requirements of Article 159 of the Constitution to borrow up to $2 billion from Vito to finance UNOC and other government infrastructure projects on the terms and conditions stated therein. 3, authorize government to capitalize UNOC after the 2 years grace period through the amortization period of the facility. 4, authorize UNOC to open and operate an escrow account, rules-based account, for payments of all revenues derived from the projects financed by the loan facility and pay into the domestic product account all proceeds from the sale of finished petroleum products to oil marketing companies in Uganda. And lastly, to approve the use of the funds deposited in the rules-based accounts and the domestic product accounts in line with the conditions as set out above. I submit for your consideration, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Thank you. Yeah. Honorable, have something to say?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, this is an eye-opening request which I invite members to pay attention to. The Attorney General moved to suspend Rule 162, Sub-Rule 2, which meant that we cannot refer this request to the Committee on National Economy for scrutiny. But that was not a waiver on other requirements under the Rule 162. For example, we needed to look at how this project will be structured, the procurement plans, if there are going to be any environmental impacts arising from this project. And all these should have been perused if there was a documentation laid here, and that document does not exist. What we get now is that there's urgency. The urgency, I'm sure, is within a few months. I wanted to be guided how we will answer all those other calls in the rule and in the law. Two, there's a requirement that we approve expenditure. First of all, opening of an escrow account and approve expenditure from that account. As far as I know, all government expenditure must move through an appropriation bill. And as constituted now, can we move to approve expenditure without an appropriation bill? Attorney General, you needed to guide on that, because if we are going to put all our revenue UNOC generates in an escrow account, now what powers do we have as a country to spend? As far as I know, all our government resources are supposed to go to consolidated fund, then they are appropriated before we actually approve. So I see some of the demands there are going to lead us into breaching some of our financial management frameworks, and this Parliament must stay alive to some of those. Otherwise, they lay very good grounds for challenge of the process. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, Bahrain, Vitol is now a partner of government, and the minister has indicated that we have worked with them successfully in the current environment. I don't know what is necessitating this demand to borrow not small money, 2 billion, when Parliament cannot be able to pay keen attention and scrutinize. 2 billion is not small money for a country like Uganda to just play with. I see a very big risk given our debt management approaches in this country. There's likelihood this money may not be used properly.
Thank you. Honorable Attorney General.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the revenue that is generated by UNOC as a business arm doesn't go to the consolidated fund. It is business. So what the monies they are talking about here are not akin to, say, the revenues made from the petroleum products. These are the monies made from the business. Say you do the Kampala storage terminal and you make revenue from that. That is what is supposed to be put in a rules-based account. Actually, it is good for us, because then we've been given an opportunity to make sure that the money, as it gets out of there are rules that we can actually follow. so it is not left to UNOC alone. VBA is a partner, yes. I think what we are saying here is that the urgency is the commercial aspect of the business. That's the urgency, that UNOC wants to do business. But UNOC still has to report to Parliament in terms of its business. Yes.
So, Attorney General, I see, so UNOC out of trading, just trading oil, has made a profit of 150 million.
UNOC, by trading oil, the one that you approved, when Parliament approved that all the oil be imported by UNOC, in the year 2025, by December 2025, by trading oil alone, UNOC made a gross profit of $150 million.
And that money now, you are saying,
that money we are
money
saying
which will be servicing their own.
It should be on a rules-based account, and it is when government if UNOC fails to pay, that's when you get to that rules-based account. So that is the kind of proceed that is required to go into the rules-based account.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, if I may seek for clarification from the Attorney General, who is in control of the Ginger Storage Terminal now? Ginger Storage Terminal. Who is controlling that facility?
Thank you. The Minister of Energy is also here in case you need help. Just him.
Right, Honorable Speaker. It is actually UNOC that is managing the Ginger Storage Terminal.
Thank you. Honorable Cooper, then Lop.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, to me, because we took a decision here that we should not deal with the middlemen, I think that's when we formed the One National Oil Company. So the infrastructure that's needed to be built or rehabilitated in Ginger, I support it. The issue of building a facility in Mombasa, I support it. The issue of doing the pipeline from Eldoret to Uganda, we support it. I think what needs more clarification is on the operations, because if Uganda National Oil Company is making profit, how is it treated when we are budgeting? Because it's not the first private or public company government is involved in. I think that's where more clarity is. How do you handle these issues?
Okay.
I think that's what needs to be clarified. But otherwise, how it's going to be reflected in our budgeting, in appropriation, I think that's what you need to clear. But otherwise, I support it. So, but we need to clarify that, because that has helped us stabilize the price of fuel in this country. So can you do some more clarification, especially the Minister of Energy, Minister of Finance?
No, Minister of Finance.
The Attorney General is handling the legalese of this, but can you, the finance people and the energy people, help the Attorney General on those operational issues?
Because we have been borrowing for UDB, hundreds of millions of dollars, okay? And I don't see us coming here to appropriate that UDB use this money to buy loan. If we have government business arms, do we also go in to say, even the profit you make, we appropriate it? Honorable Minister of Finance, how do you handle that money? Attorney General, if you can help, if you feel that.
No, thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. UNOC is supposed to meet its obligation under this arrangement through its business, and that is what they have attached as the cash flows. It's only when UNOC cannot meet its obligation, that is when they come to Parliament under Section 56 of the PFMA to finance that business. But UNOC is supposed to meet its obligations under this arrangement.
So the money it makes?
The money it makes should pay the facility, and it's only when they fail that they will come, because it's business. If they fail in the business, that's when they come under Section 56 of the PFMA to move Parliament for assistance.
Thank you. Alop?
Madam Speaker, 3 issues. I've been trying to work the numbers for them to make sense. So UNOC has generated a gross profit of, that's on page 1 of your presentation. UNOC has generated a gross profit of US dollars of up to a net of US dollars 150 million. First of all, that doesn't make sense. So is the 150 million gross? Is it net? This is gross. So we need to know what net is, because you see, gross is all that you have earned. What are the operational expenses for this to make economic sense? So now this is gross. What is the net? When you go to the last page, second last page, page 7 of your presentation, that there will be a generation of up to 5.6 billion US dollars from the projects when implemented. I think there was need to see an adumbration of that for it to make sense. So when you say you're going to generate 5.6 billion US dollars and you leave it there like that, how? Because you want a buy-in from this house. This has got to make sense to us, as opposed to you just put it there and say, when we implement this, 5.6 billion US dollars is what we are going to generate. That should be exciting to us. But before we get excited, how does that accrue? And maybe that's why there was a bit of need of time to, scrutinize all of these details.
And envelope in how long? And in what period?
Yes. So this 5.6 billion US dollars, is that on an annual basis? That would sound exciting. But is it true? I don't think so. So there's no clarity on that. This MOU, because it is in May 2025 that UNOC and Vitol concluded this MOU for financial cooperation. You see now there's many things we are doing quickly and hurriedly for want of time. We are in recess, people are out there campaigning. In May we had not gotten very busy politically. Why were we not kept in the loop so that we move together? We get to know. The Attorney General earlier on, when we were quibbling over another agreement, we were saying, but why was it not brought? And he said, we can do what we want to do, then we shall inform you later. As much as I disagree with that, it has not even applied here, because you already finished with this in May. Why have you not brought it? Even though my school of thought is we move alongside each other, as opposed to you make steps, sign, and then you want to come to Parliament much later and say, here is what we signed. What if we want to punch holes in that agreement? It becomes difficult to rescind that agreement. We dealt with an interesting, something similar. It was a 200, although much smaller, 200 million US dollars, a loan to rehabilitate the airport. That's over 700 billion shillings. It had so many issues, that agreement, from the escrow account. That agreement, very problematic. Civil Aviation Authority, each time it would make its budget, it had to first submit that budget to China to approve. Can you imagine that? Before they would expend any money, forget the escrow account, expending any money as an entity, they had to first seek for permission from China. I said, what kind of agreement is this? And at that time, the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Matia Kasaija, he said this, I'm sorry, I signed, I didn't read all these details. I said, wait a minute. This is not forgivable. So we don't want to run into similar issues. And that's why it's important that we move together. Finally, colleagues have talked about concerns, environmental concerns. Again, these are boxes you must be able to tick. Environmental impact assessments, concerns there have been for everybody that's to be affected, communities and all the different stakeholders. So you get shouldered when we move together and we know this is what's happening. So then you can be defendable. When environmental concerns come out, what is your explanation? So I think what I'm saying is we have got to get detailed information for us to move along together. I don't quite see that here. And we don't want people to think that there's anything you're hiding, because, This is some of these things outlive governments. Most of these things, anyway. That's the reality. So my concern is not just that the NRM is the one in charge today. Tomorrow you won't be here, and we'll still be dealing with issues. So we want to handle posterity, and not just the now. And that's why even us, we are interested in knowing the nitty-gritty of the issues of concern that we are raising. I don't know if the speaker captured the concerns I raised.
No, very well.
His friend was engaging him, but
no, I captured them very well. Yeah. Attorney General and Finance.
Yes, thank you. I'll deal with the issue of the MOU. This MOU was actually brought here, the MOU on trading. It was actually brought to the House before we passed the law allowing us to trade. It was brought and it was ventilated and we discussed it, but I'll check the record. But then again, even if it was not brought at the time, by now, during this budgeting cycle, UNOC must have reported, or it must report in this cycle, because when they close the financial year, they must report even the monies that they have made in that period. So I agree with you, yes, that there are issues. The Minister of Finance will address the issue of the numbers. I think for me, what I'm saying to the House is that, yes, we do appreciate where we're coming from. The concern is, if you go away now, these commercial operations will remain unattended to for a while. And that will leave UNOC unattended. That's the concern. But we do appreciate that we should not be railroading you with this kind of thing at this time. But maybe to give the House a bit of comfort, this is really an overdraft facility. And like the Minister was presenting here, it is only on monies disbursed. Some of these projects may come on stream before we come back, others may not come on stream. But the funds will be available to UNOC to carry out its business in order for it to do its work. So it can give you some comfort that maybe by the time we come back and we are done with the elections, definitely the $2 billion would not have been used, but it will be available to UNOC to do its business.
Attorney General, what I was sharing with Honorable Reed is on the road, the infrastructure projects like the road. You know, have you worked out on a list of, are they those just under NDP4 you will prioritize? Which ones are those that will take a lot of this money?
Right, Honourable Speaker, those are the, my understanding, these are the roads that are supposed to support the sector. The roads that are supposed to support the sector. The roads that would support UNOC in order to be able to carry out its thing. So that's why it's an overdraft facility. It is being made available and can be called upon. And as they go through these processes, they'll have to continue getting the necessary approvals and the plans and the procurements and that kind of thing.
Honourable colleagues, I put a question on the motion for a resolution of Parliament to authorize the government to borrow up to USD 2 billion from Vitor Bahrain EC to finance government infrastructure projects under Uganda National Oil Company be approved by this House. Those in favour say aye, to the contrary. The ayes have it. Now, Attorney General, and no, let me start with the Committee on Physical Infrastructure, the committee in charge, and the Committee on Natural Resources. Please, when we are in the process of doing our work, please follow up on this. And we need a very clear reporting mechanism on this, because the House has put its trust in you, because UNOC has been performing very well. UDB, at least those two, they've been performing very well. We don't want to frustrate UNOC to treat it as another, government entity where we have to go struggling, doing what. So with this trust, Honourable Attorney General, kindly ensure that UNOC fulfills this part of the bargain. Honourable colleagues, the games, the other speakers have already entered. Kind allow, let's adjourn the House sign die.
I want to welcome you back from the brief recess.
On Tuesday, 2nd December 2025, the Speaker, Anita Among, tasked the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Honorable Norbert Mao, to present a statement on the status of regulations of the biometric voter verification system.
Honorable Speaker, we are getting close to an election. The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, in April of this year, was here and he told us that they are going to table regulations on how biometric voter verification machines are going to apply themselves in the upcoming election. He made that commitment. That time they were seeking supplementary funding to purchase more of these kits. And we asked, where are you basing all of this? And he promised here on the floor, April of 2025, this year, that he will bring the regulations. We have 1 month to an election. They keep coming and asking for money, including some of the supplementaries that are going to be tabled. They want money for the voter verification machines. What guidelines are you going to base on? I saw candidate Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. He made a statement when he was campaigning somewhere. He said, the biometric machines are what we are going to use mandatorily. A polling station where the machine will not work, voting will not happen. I was a bit confused there and I want government to clarify. With our network issues, we saw what happened in the last election with the census. These machines, the far to reach areas, including Kampala anyway, and the neighboring areas, network will fail, usage will fail. So if you say, we are going to use these biometric machines mandatorily, so where they don't work, there is no voting. So what will happen?
I refer the Leader of Opposition to the Electoral Commission Adoption of Technology and Management of Elections Regulations, SI1 of 2021, which address the issue of the use of technology. So the use of this technology is provided for in the law. So that is sufficiently. But the issues of network and any such issues can be addressed under Section 12 of the Electoral Commissions Act.
Whereas we all agree that technology shall definitely improve, mainly the verification of voters on the voters register and coming up with a legit election. The question arises on the following matter that is not legislated. One, like the Honorable Senyonyi raised, by one candidate saying in the election that should the machine fail, elections at that polling station shall not continue. Now that is not embedded within the law. So, not within the law. So unless we legislate and embed the two, that, because you remember during the other election, the Electoral Commission came out and said when some of the machines collapsed, that now you can go and refer to the manual register.
Whatever changes or modifications or proposals that any candidate has or Parliament had to be embedded in those regulations. Now progressively, there are things that are happening that are not adequately covered in those regulations. I'll give you an example. There are stakeholders in these elections, the candidates and the political parties. Machines are being procured, and the stakeholders have no idea at all but where they are coming from, how they are being procured, the kind of technology.
Right now, I am telling you, you have sufficient legal infrastructure to run the BVV case. And if Electoral Commission feels that the election should not take place there, it is within the law under Section 12 of the Electoral Commissions Act. So there is nothing to worry about. If I've not heard the President say that, I've not seen the communication from the President to that effect.
During the sitting, the House approved over 8 trillion shillings in supplementary funding for financial year 2025-2026 to support key development projects including road infrastructure, health, and agriculture services, among others.
Section 24 of the Public Finance Management Act states that the total supplementary expenditure that requires additional resources over and above what is approved by Parliament shall not exceed 3% of the total approved budget for that financial year without approval of Parliament. Madam Speaker, pursuant to this section, we have incurred expenditures that had been unforeseen and unavoidable at the time of budgeting, which fall within 3% requirement, and we are requesting Parliament to consider these expenditures and approve them in order to regularize the process.
The committee had to process a report for Schedule 1, Schedule 2, and Schedule 3, all totaling 8,104,390. Schedule 1 totaling 1,652,290,000,000 Uganda shillings. Schedule 2 was a total of 1,696 billion Uganda shillings. This schedule was all meant for Vote 016, Ministry of Works and Transport, in order to fix various roads. We also have Schedule 3 as follows. All these Schedule 2 and 3 are for prior approval.
Right, Honorable Speaker and colleagues, Parliament is being asked to approve more than, it's now 8 trillion in supplementary funding. If this continues, we will soon reach a point where the annual budget is treated as a ceremonial event, while the real spending happens through supplementary schedules. Road contracts that have been running for years cannot be classified as emergencies. Oil palm compensation has been ongoing for a decade. The UPDF hospital in Imbuya has appeared in 3 consecutive supplementary requests. Donor exits, such as you said, have been announced far in advance. These are predictable matters that should have been foreseen in the main budget.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the report from the Committee of Supply be adopted.
I put a question that the report of the Committee of Supply be adopted by this House. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you so much, honorable members.
In the sitting, the Speaker urged legislators to actively participate in the East African Community Parliamentary Games scheduled to take place in December 2025.
Honorable members, as you may be aware that the Parliament of Uganda is hosting the East African Interparliamentary Games from 6th to 17th December 2025. I want to urge you, all of you, to participate in your various disciplines as we protect the gains of Uganda. We need to protect Yala gains.
The Speaker also commended legislators for taking part in the day's plenary sitting, albeit a busy campaign period.
Honorable members, I appreciate all of you who have heeded the call to participate in the sitting today. Indeed, this is a time that we need to be in the constituency, but because of these agencies that are here,